Welcome to the stage, it's the tale untold. Shane, the black swan breaking the mold. In a world of chaos he rises from the fray. With wings spread wide, he's here to slay. Dark shadows lurking, but he won't back down. Black swan revelations, moments alive. Chains break barriers, watch and thrive. In this kingdom of dreams, we're brave, dare to fly. The black swan's the limit, reach out to the sky. From the ashes he soared, a phoenix reborn. With beats in his heart, he's ready for war. Lyrics like daggers, sharp on the tongue. In the game for the throne, where legends are hung. Echoes of truth ringing loud and clear. Black swan revelations, moments alive. Chains breaking barriers, watching thrive.
All right. Welcome to the show. Thought I'd try something a little bit different. How's it going tonight, everyone? How's it going? All right. Marinanta, how you doing? Watchman Skylar. All right, today we're going to be talking a little bit about area where my family lives. My daughter lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and I thought, maybe I should be talking about this a little bit and approach this from the perspective of what if Rainmaker brings a flood to Phoenix? What would that look like? How would that happen? And is it even possible? Is it possible that an organization could flood Phoenix? Because I've been to Phoenix. It's hot. It's hot. So I wanted to check out the temperatures, check out the different weather networks before anything happens, just to see what the pulse is, just to kind of feel it out a little bit and then share my thoughts. Because if you're looking for a black swan event, it's easier after a black swan event happens, because that's part of the DNA. It's easier to explain it away after it happens, but it's harder to predict before it happens. That's why it's a black swan. So you need three criteria. You basically need to say, this could never happen here. It's highly improbable. Then it needs to change your world almost overnight. Like if you think of Kerr County, that place will never be the same again, at least for a while. Because we're just getting into all the tropical storms in the United States of America. Like it started June 1st and it goes arguably all the way into November. I've heard Rainmaker say that there is too much drought in the Midwest, southern regions of the United States, all the way to California, that is a problem. Now, that in itself is not the issue. Obviously, if there are farmers that need water, like, oh my goodness, like if they need water, they should be able to get water. Where the problem is, if you're trying to terraform California all the way to Texas and you're trying to rebuild it and treat it and make it into like the Garden of Eden at the expense of people living there and moving people out and then rebuilding everything, the whole landscape, That's where I have a little bit of an issue, a problem. So this is ahead of the game right now. Like, we're ahead because it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened in Phoenix. And I hope it doesn't happen because my daughter lives there. And we're going there in August. So I wanted to check the weather report, see what's going on. I had a conversation with my daughter this afternoon, and it's hot there. It's hot, and there's actually fires. Not directly close by, but in the Grand Canyon area. So, hey, no problem, Johnny Z. Have a good night. The reason why I'm going late like this as well is to document this. Because again, it's easy to record, make videos after it's happening and then say, "Oh, look at this. I knew what was coming," and all this kind of stuff. That's easy to do it after the fact. But to try and guess and predict and see what's going on, that's very difficult. It's very difficult to talk about these things before they happen. And I'm not saying that I could predict that Phoenix is going to get washed out, but I'm looking for things. I'm looking for soil that is ripe for a black swan event. That's what I look for. I have a feeling, a hunch, that I think Arizona's next on the list of whoever it is that's in charge of terraforming all these states. Like New Jersey's flooded, like North Carolina, Chicago. Like, eventually people are going to have to wake up and say, what is going on? Instead of just saying this is natural. This is just a natural phenomenon. So my goal is to build a case for you guys, for the audience. Build a case, share some video clips, and then I want you guys to think, maybe Shane's got something there. All right, so let's go to YouTube. And I have a video clip. I'm going to bring it up here. It's from the station is Arizona's Family, 3TV, CBS, Channel 5. This came out 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, 14 days. This video has been out, and I don't know if you guys have seen this or if you've paid attention to this, but they're talking about, you won't believe it unless I show you. They're talking about a potential monsoon happening in Arizona. So if you're watching this in Arizona, you're saying, Shane, you're off your rocker. What are you smoking, man? We don't get monsoons. You get flash floods. Some of them are pretty bad. They come in out of nowhere as well. I get that. You get dust storms that are just crazy. So 2 weeks ago, let's just go to the footage. Let's just watch this. Here's the title. Title is Monsoon to Bring Rain Chances to Phoenix Area Soon. These are meteorologists predicting 2 weeks out that Phoenix, Arizona there's monsoon to bring rain chances. Rain chances. Have you ever heard of that in your life? Monsoon bringing rain chances to Phoenix soon. All right. So let's play the video clip. Let's listen to what this guy has to say.
Is the 8 to 14 days about this. So this is the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook. That's going to capture July 1st through the 7th. And check it out, the dark greens, above average chances to see rain in Phoenix. Now, we need moisture. We don't have it yet, but we are going to see an increase in moisture. So I'm going to jump ahead to Monday of next week. We're still dry. All the purple colors and blue colors you see, that represents dry air. Now, watch what happens as we get going into the end of the week, 4th of July. That is Friday. We're going to see this push of moisture start to creep into the state. These orange, yellows, and greens, that's moisture. So we have at least one of the elements that we need. And we just need to get those storms rolling, maybe coming off the rim, some of those colliding outflow boundaries. So we're watching this very closely to see if we can't get some storms going by the end of next week. For
Freudian slip. We're going to watch this just so we can see if we can get some storms going. That's a Freudian slip. Bizarre, right? It's not something you want to say. Like a storm coming in to flood an area. Like, we're looking for this to happen.
The 4th of July is when the monsoon typically tends to kick in. Storms for today, they're going to stay in eastern Arizona. New Mexico has been getting all the action. Maybe doing some golfing today. Real mild out there, 80s at 8 a.m., 90s at 10 a.m., 94 at noon. And then highs today are going to land right around 103, which is below normal for this time of year. But we got a first alert day coming up because of the heat. High heat returns for the weekend. Thursday, 106, not too bad. 108 for Friday. That's above normal. Saturday, 109 degrees. Sunday is going to be 112. And then we're going to get in that really hot stuff for Monday, 114 degrees. But we will start to back off of that heat as we get going into Tuesday with our highs falling to 112.
Okay. So that is 2 weeks ago. So let's see. And I don't think, according to my daughter, I don't think they got some rain, but it wasn't like horrible or anything like that. It was cloudy, a little bit cool here and there. And this is in Scottsdale, Arizona. So here, let's have a look at this footage here. Again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to document this stuff, because sometimes what happens when there is a flood or something, it gets very, very difficult to find. So let's just go to, this is 5 days ago. All right, so 5 days ago now. Got some people from Pennsylvania. What's the weather like over there in Pennsylvania? Hopefully it's not too bad. What's it like here? Should invite Reicha from Boston. Yeah, for sure. Was he a weather guy? Here's my email for anybody that has any Black Swan pod requests. You know, if you think I should have somebody as a guest on my channel, here's my Gmail, Black Swan pod requests, and that's for people that want to be a guest on the channel. If you have questions and stuff, there's another email. It's basically Shane at blackswanrevelations.com. That's if you have questions about any of my content, any of my craziness or whatever. Okay, so we had flooding in Benton and Berwick, Pennsylvania. Okay, I'm not familiar with those areas, but I am going to be looking them up to see what's going on over there. Not right away, but we had flooding. So pretty bad flooding. Was it severe? Or was it just like bearable? See, this is why I like live. Live is you can actually interact with your audience. Okay. Well, Nicolette, I hope I'm saying your name right, is pondering. Let's go to, was in a floaty in the streets. I get it. Okay, so not crazy, but okay. Let's go over to Arizona. This is 5 days ago. No alerts, air quality. Let's see. Okay, let's just, so this is again the same station, Arizona's Family. Let's go. They have 323,000 subscribers, so they got a huge audience. A lot of people listen to them. 3,000 views. That's interesting.
Let's get you outside. No alerts today as far as air quality goes. So if you are up early trying to beat the heat, well, It's pretty warm. We're in the 90s starting your Thursday morning. Now, the heat warnings, they're for Phoenix and for Western Arizona. We have a first alert day. Our last one of this heat stretch. The heat warnings, though, they've been dropped for Payson and Yavapai County. So we're not going to see as hot of a day as we did yesterday in Prescott and Payson. And it was about 100 degrees up there. So really warm for those locations. The sun is almost officially up. There's plenty of light out there right now, officially at 5:27. Here's your day in detail, making sure that you are prepared for the day ahead. 102 at 10 a.m., 106 at lunchtime. We take it to 114 today. That's down from 118 yesterday, which was an absolute doozy. Temperatures right now, we're sitting at 98 degrees in Phoenix. Let's see if that's our low temperature. We're probably going to get that soon here, right when the sun comes up. We're in the 90s in Tempe, 80s elsewhere around the valley. So starting very, very warm after that very, very hot day yesterday. 114 for today. Tomorrow we drop the first alert day. So sunny with 110 for your Friday. Saturday 110. Similar situation for Sunday and Monday. And then something we're tracking. We want to be the first to alert you to changes, and that does include storm chances. So next week we're going to incorporate a storm chance for Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now 20%. So not a slam dunk, but it's a better chance than we've had in about a week or two. So we will take it.
Better chance.
Here are
okay.
3 reasons your sales team will actually want to use Monday Sales CRM.
All right. So let's just back up here.
A first alert day. Our last one, sunny with similar situation for season. That does include storm chances. So next week, we're going to incorporate a storm chance for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay. Storm chance Tuesday and Wednesday. Today's obviously Tuesday. So we're talking about this week now. So storm chances. So because I'm a conspiracy guy, sometimes this is bad because I leap, I jump, I leap. So I'm trying not to. But there's not a hint anywhere here of storms, rain, nothing. 2 weeks ago, they're saying we can expect something. So I find it fascinating that you can look at your model a week in advance and there's nothing showing up on your model, but yet you're saying, could be a chance. Could be a chance. Sometimes I wish I was a weatherman. It's not a bad gig. You can be wrong half the time and still have a job. More than half. 80% of the time you could be wrong because you just update your models every morning. It's like, hey, we didn't see this coming, but in the next 2-3 days, we could see this coming down the pipes a little bit. And then that changes the next day. Oh, I guess it blew over and wasn't as bad as we thought. All right. Let's see here. So they're getting them going, right? Admitting. Yeah, it's almost like that, right? Like, especially if you like the conspiracy stuff, this is fodder for conspiracies. All right. So let's go here. Let's go back. Now we're going to start to talk about, we're going to go we are okay, we're going to build a case now why I believe, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I believe I can begin to build a case that they're prepping Arizona to terraform it in order to sell their technology to another country. But I have to build it. I have to prove it to you guys. I have to prove it so that I don't look like I'm just a crazy guy. I have to prove it. So I showed you 2 weeks ago. I showed you 5 days ago that they're saying that there is a chance of a storm coming. And we're on Tuesday now. Talked to my daughter today, and it didn't seem to be too bad there. It was hot today. So now, if I were to plan to terraform a state, an entire state, I'm going to need proper conditions for that. You can't just flood a state. You can't flood it. Like overnight, it won't work. Why? Because the soil is going to absorb it. The trees are going to absorb rainwater. The mountains, the hills, the valleys, even the river itself, the aquifers, all that stuff in the river, the lakes, the man-made lakes, it's all going to fill. Okay, we got somebody. Oh, Deidre, you're from Phoenix. This is awesome. I am in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is terribly hot. My feeling is the skies are building up heat for a monsoon storm. Okay, hold that thought. Hold it. Put it on the shelf for a second. I like where you're going. So again, if I were to terraform a state, what I would do is I would look at the state and I would be like, you know what? This soil is not, the conditions aren't good for a flood. And I know that sounds bad, right? That sounds evil to say things like that. Like you're calling good bad and you're calling bad good. But in order to have the perfect flash flood condition, you have to make the ground like cement. You have to make it smooth. You have to put layers, almost like putting a tarp over top of the ground, and then imagine using a spray hose over that tarp. The water has nowhere to go on that tarp. It's sealed. The tarp itself is waterproof. So that's the condition that I would be looking for if I want to cause a flash flood. And we're talking about man-made. I'm talking about pretend I'm the guy that's in charge of terraforming your whole state. This is what I would do. I would look around the region and I would say, you know what? The soil is too good right now. It's too rich. What we need to do is we need to burn it down. We need to burn it. Why? Because if you could burn it, you actually get ash. And if ash is all over the ground and you pour water on it, it actually forms a vapor barrier, a tarp, so that you can't penetrate anymore with water. So you need to start burning areas in Arizona. You need to start taking them out, and you have to disguise it in some way to say that you're actually helping. Oh, there's a potential fire over here. Let's go check it out. And then you go over there and then you make up a term like you're fighting the fires, but you're not going to use normal terms. You're not going to use terms like we're using the firefighting crew, or we're using crews with ladders, with axes, with helicopters. We're not going to use that. We're going to use terms like aerosol. We're going to use geoengineering terms that you've never heard of before in your life. That's what we're going to do in order to get people used to the idea that firefighters fight with aerosol canisters. And aerosol canisters usually can be loaded with silver iodide for later. Or you can load it with other chemicals so that when the water hits, you got a huge flood on your hand. So that's what I would do, is I would torch areas and tell people to evacuate that area because it's not safe. There's fire here. Go away. There's too much smoke. Go somewhere else. And then you keep torching the place for the purpose of looking for areas where you know if it rains, it's going to have a flash flood in this area. So you make it nice and smooth. And you build it up with ash, because once water hits it, it's a nice little vapor barrier. All right. So I'm building the case for how they would terraform Arizona. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look for fires and we're going to listen to what they say. So let's go to this next video.
Well, we got
some things working for us, some things working against us. Here's a chance for rain in the forecast, which is always good. We could see some gusty winds that kind of fan flames and make things pretty erratic. This is where we could see storms for today, and that does include the north rim of the Grand Canyon. I want to kind of zip through those winds and tell you what we might be dealing with. Let me zip on over here and get to that. This afternoon, that's where we could see those gusty winds up in the northern part of the state. We're talking 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, maybe gusts even stronger. Thursday is going to bring another round of renewed winds that we'll be watching closely. So not the best conditions for firefighting. And we got big changes ahead for Phoenix as well. 110 for today. And then Thursday, temperatures dropping to the low 100s with a chance for some rain. We're going to be tracking all of that in your first alert forecast coming up in just. Oh, we got some things working.
Okay. So we're talking about, let me just fast forward here. So it's hot, hot, hot. And then let's go ahead here.
Closely. So not the best conditions for firefighting. And we got big changes ahead for Phoenix as well. 110 for today. And then Thursday, temperatures dropping to the low 100s with a chance for some rain. We're going to be tracking.
Okay. For a chance of some rain. So we're talking about Thursday. All right. So now come back to me. I know we're bouncing a bit, but I'm trying to build a case. So they're saying it's really, really hot. Notice how he said it's not good condition for our firefighters. Okay. Sometimes I wish you could preload this stuff, but let's see here. Where is? Let me just double check here. Where did that video go? Let's see where did it go? Here it is. I think, yes, this is it right here. Okay. Okay. So remember, that was 1 day ago. So this video is from ABC News. Now this is bigger. This is a bigger network. 18 million subscribers. 57,000 views 2 days ago. Okay. So we got to build the narrative now that we need fires, because if we're going to have rain down the road on Thursday, we need fires so that we can build a nice little terrain. So let's just listen to what they're prepping people in Phoenix, Arizona for. This is 2 days ago.
All right, the wildfire emergency in the Grand Canyon is intensifying as two fires are growing rapidly and burning out of control. The White Sage Fire exploding to more than 40,000 acres, and the Dragon Bravo Fire burning 5,000 acres. The fire is forcing authorities to expand evacuation zones and clear out hundreds of people visiting the landmark. ABC News' Melissa Adon joins me now with more. Melissa, the White Sage Fire, it doubled in size in less than 1 day. What else do we know about this?
Yeah, Ike, it's pretty impressive, right? When we're seeing just the size and the magnitude of these wildfires, it is definitely a concern, especially right now during the summertime.
The words that they use are horrible. It's impressive. It's impressive. This is what we needed. We're looking for things. We're getting excited about, like, he just said that they're evacuating hundreds of people out of the region of where the Grand Canyon is, probably arguably one of the greatest tourist attractions in Western United States, in the world. And they're evacuating people to get them away so that they can work on what they need to do without any witnesses.
And when everyone is visiting national parks and the Grand Canyon. So look, those evacuations remain in place in Arizona. It is near the Grand Canyon due to these explosive wildfires. As for that White Sage Fire, that's now 40,000 acres, doubling in size. We know that the flames broke out Wednesday following a thunderstorm that moved through the area, and it's really impacting the north rim of the Grand.
Following a thunderstorm, now they got these two massive fires that are out of control.
Grand Canyon National Park. We've been seeing crews combating that by air assault. And then, of course,
Crews combating that by air assault. That's not a firefighting term. That is a geoengineering term. I think it's a Freudian slip. She shouldn't have said that. They don't use aerosols to fight fires, as far as I know. This is a new term, air assault. The firefighters need to be there to lace the fires with air salt and cause them to be bigger. It's not good, man. It's not good.
Of course, nearby, that Dragon Bravo fire at 5,000 acres, that really also kind of growing since we've been watching it for the last few days, Ike.
Melissa, how much are weather conditions impacting firefighters' ability to contain these fires?
Exactly, Ike. That's just the crux of it. It is this hot, dry, and these windy conditions that is making it worse. It is fueling those flames, and it's something that we've been monitoring just the last few days. There is a heat warning in place, and an extreme heat warning through the next few days. We saw highs of 116 degrees, but then when you add, of course, the windy conditions, that makes it even harder for those air assault crews that are trying to get to really hard to reach places in the Grand Canyon to take out these flames. So that's
air assault crews. That's the second time she said that. It makes it very hard for our firefighting, our air assault crews to get to hard to reach places. Why? Well, because people like you or me can't go there to see what's going on. So they can start lacing this stuff with aerosols that'll make this fire be huge.
been an issue that we've been monitoring that is just making it harder for firefighting crews on the ground, Ike.
Melissa, Don, thank you for that.
Okay. So now what I would expect in the next couple of days, tomorrow being Wednesday, tomorrow and Wednesday, I would expect now heavy rain. And it's probably going to put out these fires, but the condition is already laid so that now the soil is sealed. You can't have water be absorbed by the ground. So if I was predicting, I would say that there's going to be a severe weather storm coming this weekend because they've been working on this for a couple of weeks. Wouldn't you know that Rainmaker also has a contract in Arizona? I don't know where he is right now. I don't know if if his organization is going to be working in Arizona, but it wouldn't surprise me if he comes up on the radar saying he's doing some work in Arizona and he thought it would be a good time to do it because there was lots of fires. I didn't know that there was going to be a flood. That's not me. This is really a guess, but he does have contracts in Arizona. I can't find them yet, but I know that's part of their district as well. And he's been in New Mexico. He was in New Mexico on up to I think it was between June 22nd and June 30th before they got hit. They got hit like a few days later with their flood. And he was there. Rainmaker was in New Mexico. Rainmaker was within 100 miles of Kerr County, and they flooded horribly. Now, he has been on record saying we don't really have contracts east of the Mississippi because they get rain all the time. But the problem here is there's drought. I hope not as well. I really do. What's the date today? Today is the 15th. Yesterday, Augustus with Rainmaker actually where they made a deal yesterday with Atmo. If you guys don't know anything about Atmo, that's okay. They're another California-based organization. And wouldn't you know it, they specialize in basically nanoclimates. They specialize with AI weather modification. They study the atmosphere, the air, all this stuff, and these guys are very good at it. Very good with AI technology. And they joined forces yesterday with these guys, Rainmaker. Rainmaker and Atmo announce a strategic alliance to transform weather modification with AI-powered precision cloud seeding. You can't make this stuff up, folks. He is going hard into wanting to terraform the western part of the United States into a tropical paradise, a Garden of Eden, if you will, at the expense of everyone living in those regions. This is what he has said. He doesn't say that they're going to be removing people, but this is what's happening. We see it with fires. People are being removed. With flooding, people are being removed and relocated to other portions of other states, other areas, other regions, so that they can geoengineer the western parts of the United States of America. It's happening right before your eyes. It's just most people aren't paying attention to it because the meteorologists are also in on the take, meaning they're not getting all the information. So they're looking at their radars and they're like, yeah, okay, we get this and that and this. They're telling us to say this. They're telling us to say that. We've got to groom people. But they don't know at the end of the day. They don't know what's actually going on, but they're all on the same page. They're not going to warn you. They're not going to let you know, hey, there's a flash flood that's imminent. Like get your stuff moved to higher ground. They're not going to tell you that. Because either they don't know or they're pretending that they're ignorant. But then you got these organizations that are going full steam ahead and they're working for associations, weather modification associations like West Texas and South Texas Weather Association. So they're being funded by these associations in America, in your local state. They're paying these companies to come in and fill up the aquifers and terraform the states that they want new buildings in. Ever hear a thing called 15-minute cities? Yeah, that's a thing. That's what they're prepping you guys for. And you don't see it because you're not going to find it on the news. You'll find it here, trying to let you guys know that, hey, kind of give yourself a little bit of a look around and see what's really going on. Yeah, you're exactly right. Like it's different. Like here in Canada, in Alberta, like it's there are pockets where people do cloud seeding throughout Canada, but it's not on a corporate scale like it is here, a provincial scale, I should say. Like all of Alberta hires insurance companies in Alberta hire cloud seeding companies to make big hailstones into tiny hailstones. So by the time it gets to the city, there's your vehicle's only going to get hit by pellets. And where I live, this is like the cloud seeding capital of Canada. There's nobody that cloud seeds more than we do, especially in my backyard. Like it's crazy. And there's American companies that actually have their planes in our airport close to us. There's two for sure. I think there's probably three, but I know there's two for sure in our backyard. And I'm not saying this is a crime. It's not a crime. Not even saying the idea behind Rainmaker when they're trying to fill aquifers. I'm not saying that's bad. What I'm saying is all this other stuff that they're trying to do to get you used to the idea that you're going to have to move one day. All right, so let's go back to, let's just read this a little bit here. So they joined partnerships yesterday. There's a San Francisco Bay Area. Looks like that's where they're from. Yeah, they're right there. That's their little, I think that's where their headquarters is. Rainmaker and Atmo announced strategic alliance to transform weather modification with AI-powered precision cloud seeding. Partnership combines radar-driven robotic cloud seeding with ultra-precise AI meteorology to fight water shortages worldwide. There's your goal. I told you what their goal is. Now they're writing it down. It's almost like there's some unwritten rule that they have to tell you what they're doing before they do it. Because then otherwise maybe it's illegal or something in the realm of principalities, powers, rulers of the air. They're just writing it out saying, look, we're trying to combat water shortages worldwide. We're not experiencing water shortages, even though once in a while they'll say, hey, don't water your lawn, all this kind of stuff, but that's different. So these guys are trying to fight it, but they're using, imagine AI meteorologists, software that poses like meteorologists, so you don't see these people anymore on TV, and they have their predictive modeling scattered throughout the US, and then they feed stations like this, and they won't even question it. They'll go, oh, hey, look how accurate these models are. Wow, I wonder how they do this. Well, it's from AI meteorology. There's over 38,000 people that work for cloud seeding organizations in China. They spent over $1.2 billion in infrastructure so that they could cloud seed half of China. They're terraforming their country, and it's going to spread to here. They're going to be selling their technology to the US if the US decides, you know what, we're going to ban cloud seeding all over here because we don't trust our own companies or whatever it is. And then China has a chance to sell. So unless these cloud seeding companies get huge investors, like, for example, Peter Thiel, the guy that created PayPal, co-founded PayPal with Elon Musk, is an investor. Basically, he gave $100,000 to Augustus to help him start his organization. This is Peter Thiel. And I also found out that Amazon actually helps. I believe it's Rainmaker as well. They donate, they invest in Rainmaker technology, AI technology, obviously. I think one of the ways that they do that is by delivering packages of silver iodide to Rainmaker. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it comes from China. Don't know. Silver iodide. If you eat this stuff, it could kill you, make you very sick. 50 grams, not good. But I guess it's okay if it's dispersed into the clouds. Amazon's a part of this. Peter Thiel's part of this. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a whole bunch of governors, government bodies that are into this as well. We know that there are over 38 countries in the world that participate with cloud seeding, including I think India is trying it now. Like, they should have their results today, because they started July 2nd, I believe, to July 14th to seed certain areas, and then they're going to see if it worked for them. This is a thing. And Augustus has been on record to say, look, we want to get good. We want to basically produce a portfolio to be able to sell this technology or contract ourselves out to other countries so that they can have water in places that are desert. They want basically a global Garden of Eden. All right, let's continue. July 14, Rainmaker Technology Corporation, the pioneering cloud seeding company, and Atmo Inc., the leader in AI-based ultra-precise meteorology, today announced a strategic alliance to restore water supplies worldwide. The alliance creates the world's most advanced weather modification platform by uniting two of the most innovative companies in atmospheric science, geoengineering. By combining Rainmaker's radar-validated cloud seeding platform with Atmos ultra-fast, highly accurate AI weather simulations, the partnerships will deliver measurable precipitation enhancement with unprecedented precision and cost effectiveness, aka or i.e. or for example, drones. Way cheaper. Augustus right now has a 55-pound drone that could blast through any weather storm with a smile on its face. 55 pounds. Have you ever lifted a 55-pound drone? I haven't. I've seen many drones in my life. That's heavy. It's solid. This alliance represents the future of weather technology, said Alexandra Levy, CEO of Atmo. Atmo's AI will identify optimal conditions for cloud seeding with unprecedented precision, while Rainmaker's drones can act on those insights immediately. Together, will ensure no opportunity is missed to restore water supplies worldwide. We're deploying an end-to-end solution to forecast rainfall. So they're going to forecast it first and say, here's where the rain is. And then they're going to go after it and make it rain. Said Augustus Dorico, CEO of Rainmaker. For the first time, we can combine AI meteorology with radar-validated cloud seeding operations to deliver measurable precipitation enhancement with extreme accuracy and cost effectiveness. From forecast to rainfall, how the integrated system, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's not very long. Bear with me here because this is important. Under the strategic alliance, Rainmaker will integrate Atmos AI weather forecasting and simulation capabilities into its operations, meaning it can simulate a weather storm over the United States of America and the drones will go after it. It doesn't have to be accurate. There's nowhere. It just has to be a simulation that the drones can understand and say, and then feed it into the drones, and the drones can go as though it actually really happened. Radically improved targeting. Atmos Ensemble deep learning models, which predict weather up to 40,000 times faster, most likely because you're causing the bad weather, because that's probably the only way that you could predict it is if you cause it. Because otherwise, right now, nobody can predict the storms. Up to 40,000 times faster and up to 100 times more precisely than conventional weather models. So they're saying they're 100 times more precise than the news agencies that you're watching, because they have weather models that they follow. And this will enable Rainmaker to identify optimal seeding conditions with unprecedented accuracy. So if he tells you that we're just dispersing 70 grams of silver iodide, even though our average is 50, and usually we use drones, but instead we use the plane at 2,600 feet, and it was only for 20 minutes, don't believe it. 70 grams of silver iodide can bring in tens of millions of gallons of water. And if they bring it into Arizona, where is it going to go if all your soil is sealed by fires? The worst time to have a flood is after a fire. I know it sounds weird. You'd think, oh, rains are good for fires. Not if it's a flash flood, because all you did was you just sealed that whole area, and there's no trees to absorb the fire. There's no soil to absorb the fire. The rivers can't absorb it because they're all full now because of the rains that are going to be coming in. Remember, 2 weeks ago, I just showed you the footage. They're expecting a monsoon, therefore you should be expecting a monsoon in that region. When? Probably Thursday or Friday. I don't know if you're on high ground. If you're in Arizona, don't know. I'd have to check the elevation. But that's what they're saying. They're saying expect it. Like this Thursday, expect a severe storm. I can go on and on, but I'm telling you, these guys are planning big. They have big ambitions. Big ambitions. And most people are not aware of it. And this isn't conspiracy stuff. This is just me reading. If you read your website, you're like, my goodness, they want to do this all over the world. And if they get really good at it, you don't think China's going to knock on their door? You don't think Russia's going to knock on their door with this technology? This was invented by the United States of America. This was not invented by Israel. This was not invented by Russia or China. This was invented by Americans as early as 1885. They'll say 1946 with some dry ice thrown out of an airplane, but they were already working on it in 1885. San Diego, for example, hired a Rainmaker, and what he would do is just, I think he poured all kinds of salt and different things. He didn't use any silver iodide into these big containers close to a dam, and he was to be paid $10,000. This is in 1885. Forget the guy's name, Hyatt or something like that, I think. $10,000. And he didn't have a contract. It was a verbal agreement, and it didn't rain right away. So he left, and then they said, you didn't bring enough rain. I think it rained like a week or 2 weeks later, and it filled up the reservoir that they had in San Diego. It filled it up to like 70-80% because of the rain. And because it wasn't 100%, he didn't get paid. So he ended up doing it again, and it destroyed that whole dam. It rained so bad, it washed everything out around San Diego. And you can actually go to that dam. I forget what it's called, but you can actually tour it. It's basically vacated right now. That's in 1885. Then in the 40s, they started perfecting it after World War II. They perfected it, or at least they realized that if you could use silver iodide, this is a good thing. And then it got so bad that in 1966, when they were losing the Vietnam War, they decided we got to pull all the strings. We need to extend the monsoon rainy season in Vietnam, and they called it Operation Popeye. And it was so successful that they couldn't move any of their troops around. The Vietnamese were kind of hemmed in because it rained so bad. It flooded all the roads. They couldn't get supplies, all this kind of stuff. They were so good at it that in 1972, they signed a treaty, meaning the world, saying, hey, you can't use that technology on us, Americans. That's illegal. Americans were like, you can't use it back on us. China, Russia. And they're like, great, let's have a handshake. Everybody in agreement. We're not allowed to use it on each other. Say aye. And they did it. They formed a treaty. But there's nothing in that treaty that said that you can't terraform another state. You can't terraform your own country. You can't attack your own people. There's nothing written in that treaty. They just tell you that you can't attack another country, but you can attack yourself. And I think in some ways you guys are actually under attack right now in America because of all the flooding. Just look around. Like it actually feels like America is actually sinking below the oceans because it's like there's leaks everywhere. Like the place is just flooding. North Carolina, Chicago, Kerr County, all the surrounding regions, New Mexico, New Jersey, New York. Like, and we're only at the beginning of the season. We're only at the beginning. You got till November. You telling me that this is just going to clear up tomorrow? Kerr County got flooded 30 days ago. Last year, they got flooded by 4 feet in Kerr County. They spent almost a year rebuilding, and now they're flooded by 30 foot. And again, why is this happening again? It's because the last flood sealed everything. The soil is fully saturated. There's no room for the water to go. There's nowhere for the water to go. There's no room anywhere. The man-made lakes, New Ingram, are full. The aquifers, I'm sure, have to be. You'd think they have to be full by now. The rivers are full. There's no trees to absorb any more rain, so it has to go somewhere in Flash Flood Alley. Kerr County is not out of this mess. They're going to face this the rest of the summer, and then maybe they can get a chance at rebuilding, but I don't think they're going to be able to rebuild there. I think that's it. Because it could happen again next year. And if it's man-made, they could force you out of that area, relocate you somewhere else. The whole game changes when you introduce AI. And that's what Augustus has done since yesterday. They shook hands on it and said, we want you to use your AI meteorology program and inject your models, feed that into our drones, and we're going to send them into the clouds. And we're going to be so precise. We're going to know exactly where to hit them. I mean, exactly where to help them. Sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? All right. I think I've given you enough to sleep on tonight. Make sure and subscribe to this channel. Share this video. I know my channel sometimes takes a little bit of a beating because I think YouTube doesn't want me sharing this type of information. Could be considered conspiracy to some people, but I tried to do my best to build up a bit of a portfolio by documenting what they've said here. Let me give you another example here. Just, because I always, like, in my head, I think, man, I have to be crazy. I have to be crazy because no one else is seeing this stuff. Like, maybe I am crazy. So look at this here. Let's just have a look here. I want to show you something that I posted the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Okay, posts. Okay. I think this will help. I think this will help you out, guys. I think this will help you out. Okay, and then we'll call her a day here, just so you guys don't think I'm crazy. Can you see this? Okay, I'm gonna put it up full screen. I'm gonna hide my beautiful face for a sec. I want to show you guys something. Okay, I posted the other day. This is July 4th at 10 o'clock till 12 p.m. They have no idea what happened in Kerrville nor the camps. Zero knowledge. They spent the entire day fabricating and creating stories to be released for July 5th because everyone was off work on Friday and they didn't want to interrupt the 4th of July. So this is Kerrville, TX, flooding, what we know. So they didn't know anything 11 days ago. July 3rd, nothing to report for July 4th. July 4th is when Kerrville got destroyed. No warnings. This tells me they have no idea. July 4th at 1 a.m., all hell broke loose for Kirk County and nothing. There were no warnings whatsoever. They were talking about Tropical Storm Chantal moving in. Then I posted this. All campers accounted for. We are all here. This was July 4th. Look what they said. Can I see it? I don't know if you could see that. Oh, yeah, okay. It's kind of a weird way to have this thing. I didn't see that before. We sustained catastrophic level floods. We have we've had a lot of rain. We have water or we have no. I think that's what it's supposed to say. I apologize for that. I should have cropped it a little bit more. We have no water or Wi-Fi. All Cypress Lake campers are all safe and sound. We've had a lot of rain, and we're all accounted for. All campers on Senior Hill are doesn't say are well, they're all accounted for. All campers on Senior Hill are also accounted for. I don't know why that doesn't show up properly. So basically what I'm saying here, this is Camp Mystic. They just on July 4th they said we have all the campers accounted for. We have all the campers accounted for on July 4th. How could that be if at 1 o'clock in the morning you had a flash flood warning on July 4th and the last warning that you gave was July 3rd at 1:18 p.m.? There's a 12-hour gap of nothing. July 4th, people are dying. People are being washed away. Cabins are being washed away till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday. And you are posting from the camp itself saying, we have all the campers. This is for the parents. Nothing to worry about. We have all the campers. So then the parents are like, oh, thank goodness. This isn't such a bad flood because they're telling us we got all the campers. Both camps. There's 2 camps, both of them. And these are the directors of the camp or the volunteer, whoever's in charge of that area. I understand the camp director died as well. I don't know if his wife died or just him rescuing someone out of a tree and then he got washed away in the flood. Conveniently, whatever, like one of the major witnesses as to what's going on died. That's inconvenient. Sad to hear. But they're posting that we have all the campers. Nobody's missing. Nothing to see here, parents. We will get all your kids back to you. This is at about between 7 and 10 o'clock, July 4th in the morning, after the 1 in 1,000 year flood where 127 people are dead. And you're telling the parents, we got all the campers. So they're like, oh, okay, thank you. And then about 12 noon, 1 o'clock, the sheriff gets in, starts talking, starts saying, well, we're missing 2 or 3 campers unaccounted for. Then the stories start coming in on Saturday. Sorry. The stories come in on Saturday. So nothing on July 4th. All day. The sheriff spoke and said we've got some flooding, and we think there might be a couple of people missing, but that's all we know. That's all I'm going to tell you guys, because we're working on it right now. That was July 4th, hours after the most horrendous torrential downpour in Kerrville history, and you have nothing for the parents, and then posting all day saying, yeah, no, it's all good. And then Saturday, reporters show up and pretend that it just happened. They're like, I'm right here. Look at this river. It's like 30 feet high and all this. Look at this stuff. This is horrible. We got reports of this. I just got this report. Children missing and homes destroyed, all this stuff. And they're making it like it just happened on July 5th, Saturday morning. It didn't happen July 5th. Where were you July 4th at 6 o'clock in the morning when people's lives were being destroyed? There was nothing till July 5th. And that's my problem with the media. They stalled for a whole day to get their story straight. And then they showed up on Saturday and started filming, pretending that you would think, or hoping that you would think, that it just happened that night. They kept saying on July 4th, this just happened. We're just finding this out. This is so horrible. And you're like, oh man, I wonder what's going on. Wow, it just happened, this flood. And you're texting people and saying, did you hear that they just had a flood? Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that was actually 24 hours earlier. Go check your phone. You were only messaging people Saturday morning. Nobody was messaging anybody at midnight. Everybody was asleep. Campers were asleep. They didn't know. Nobody told them. Augustus knew. He said on July 2nd, I was seeding 150 miles southeast of Kerr County because I have 10 counties that I represent. We left from Runge, 2,600 feet in the air, 70 grams of iodine in a plane, seeding when you knew that there was precipitation coming in from the Gulf, because you are accurate. You just told us yesterday on the website, on Atmo website, that you are precise. You are 100 times more accurate than any of the weather radars that are out there. You're 40,000 times more precise. I just read it. So you're telling me on July 2nd, because you knew that you're going up to seed a cloud to produce tens of millions, and you didn't know that Kerr County was going to get hit by a flood? You didn't know that? You didn't know Tropical Storm Barry just moved through that whole area and is drawing precipitation from the Gulf? You don't know that? I'm pretty sure you do, because you said that's your strategy on the west side. When the Pacific comes in, if there's any major storm that comes in, you guys come in after the storm, because you know precipitation is being drawn in from the Pacific, and then it gets caught in a draft. And that's where you want your silver iodide, because it covers a lot of area. Tens of millions of gallons of water. Do you know what that would do to an already saturated area? You're going to destroy that whole place. All right. So let me see here. Shane, people thought you were rude on Uptime because you kept cutting Amy off. I don't think they realize that you have a dominant personality. LOL. Not a bad thing. I'm that way too. You know what thing that sometimes happens is you have a thought in your head, and sometimes there's a little bit of a delay, because what we do is if I say a thought and I pause, that is usually a hint for someone to jump in. So if Greg or Amy or someone else pauses and maybe they're thinking about their next thing, sometimes I'll jump in because there's a gap. And sometimes, maybe we could get better at letting it cook, letting it simmer and that kind of thing. But I get pretty excited on some of this stuff, especially if somebody asks me. Sometimes you got to finish your thought because there's 6 of us. And I'll apologize to Amy because I don't want to ever come across rude or anything like that. But it happens sometimes. Sometimes I'll get cut off. Sometimes I cut people off. I don't want to do that. Trying to get better at that kind of thing. But when you're used to having a channel like this where you go on for hours and then somebody asks you a question and you're trying to really compress it down instead of unpacking it for 2 hours, and you're like, okay, how can I compress this down to 1 minute? And then you're like, oh, and I should have said this. And then someone else talks. Then you go, oh, I'm sorry. Can I finish? Okay, go ahead. So you'll see some of that. That's the beauty and that's the curse of live. That happens sometimes. We cut each other off and stuff. And I'm telling you, there's some like, if you think I'm bad, sometimes there are people you can't even get a word in for like an hour. So I will get better, and I will apologize to Amy for that. And thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see here. What else do we have here? Yeah, that's interesting too, the Hawaii thing. Lots of stuff going on there. You don't even, sometimes you don't even know where to begin with some of this stuff, because you look at all the news outlets and everything. Like, thank God I could still have a devotion like in the mornings, because man, if you watch the news all day, it can be all consuming. So I appreciate you guys that have stuck around for an hour or so here. It's not easy talking about this stuff, but I feel impressed. I hope it's from the Lord to be able to document this stuff. That's how my whole channel started. It used to be called Black Swan Diaries, because I wanted to document events that were happening around the world as they happen, and then share my thoughts about what we're thinking right now. So that if somebody were to come back to this channel a year from now, they can go, oh, this is what Shane was talking about last year on July 15th. This is what he was talking about. And then maybe something happens on July 20th or July 19th or July 18th. Don't know. But it's important to document everything so that you can come back and say, oh, hey, Shane, you're wrong. They'll be like, oh, okay, good. I'm glad I was wrong. Yeah, no, I still appreciate it. I still appreciate it, because I do try. And sometimes I get a little bit passionate about some of the topics that we talk about. Let's see here. What else do we have here? What governmental operation would you name this operation? Like, which one? The one for if we're going along with this little conspiracy that Phoenix is going to wash away? Is that the operation, or like just overall? Because they're all in on it. Like all the various states are in on it in some fashion, especially when you go west, especially if you're talking about a state that needs water. That's where it starts from. You need water. And then once you fill the aquifers, you don't care about any other county because your aquifers are good. Let's see here. Daisy Joe. Off subject, but this girl needs prayer. She's a pretty big YouTuber out of Canada that has married a Syrian man She has converted and is right in the middle of that Drew's fighting. Her man has... Big YouTuber out of Canada is married a Syrian man, converted, and is right in the middle of that Drew's fighting. So it kind of sounds like he is maybe perhaps he's Muslim, she's Christian, which is very complicated. Yeah, for sure. We can pray for her. Not her man has not been truthful with her. She's living terrible conditions. She makes her audience think she's some kind of fantasy. It's sad. What's I don't know if you want to share, but what's the channel name? Let's see here. What else is there? It's like 2 a.m. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for staying on here this long. Yeah, this whole thing sounds fishy. Yeah, it is sad. It's sad that that they lost children in Camp Mystic and everywhere else, and it's kind of like they're not really talking about it too much anymore in the media. Like the news is just they're smiling and they're joking. Oh, we're expecting a hurricane. Ha 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 ha. It's like I think they need to change their countenance to match what their potential audience can go through. Like this just in, there could be a flash flood warning, and I pray to God that that does not happen. And I'm so sorry if it's going to happen to your area, your county. If you can get to safety, like just change your countenance. Don't be laughing and, oh, but this day we have really hot weather. What did you do today? Oh, I went golfing. Okay. For those of you not in this county, you're going to get a flash flood, and most likely you're going to lose your job and your home is going to be washed away, and perhaps you could lose a few family members. Sorry about that. It's cold. It's cold, man. Very cold. So it feels very scripted as well. It's taking her money from YouTube. She just wanted love, I guess. She's beautiful, but she weighs about 400 pounds. Her channel is Foodie Beauty. Foodie Beauty. Okay. I'll check it out. But yeah, for sure. It's sad. Sad, sad, sad. Sad, sad, sad. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. And again, if you have anything that that you want, this is probably the best one, the best email. I check this one every single day. If you have something in regards to what weather in Phoenix, Arizona, let me know that, because sometimes because I do other work, sending emails out and all this kind of stuff. I might not always get a chance to check this email, but if you could email me, especially if there's a video link from YouTube about news agencies and what they're saying is coming down the pipes, maybe we can kind of string this stuff together, build a little bit of a case as to what's actually going on. Or if you have a question or maybe a topic that you think I should talk about, or if I offended somebody in some way, you could always email me as well. I might delete it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't think I delete emails. I might not read them all, but I don't think I delete them. But yeah, if there's a way that you think I can improve this channel, or if there's other topics you think I should talk about, like I know I've been hitting the floods pretty hard, but I feel it's important. This is kind of close to home. We were flooded in Calgary. A lot of devastation, a lot of unanswered questions. They released the dam a little bit west of us, and it just caused massive flooding. Not that they could help it, but it's just horrible on every side. And then also my hometown, Fort McMurray, also got devastated by firefighters, and there's lots of conspiracies going on. Was this plan to just clean up the mess, burn all these older homes down? There was a fire in Jasper, one of my favorite towns, and it's probably one of the nicest towns in the whole world, and it got burnt down. And they were talking about it for years, saying, you have a potential fire hazard in Jasper. You need to clean it up. You need to clean up all the debris. And they didn't do anything. And the majority of Jasper cooked, burnt down. It's horrible, horrible. So I don't like horrible stories like that. Not if you can see it coming. All right. You guys go to bed now. Go straight to bed. Don't be watching the news or anything. Just go straight to bed. Have a good night. Appreciate you guys a lot. And we'll see you tomorrow. Just make sure and subscribe to this channel. If you think you've already subscribed, just double check to make sure, because I know YouTube sometimes I've caught them unsubscribing 30, 40 people at once. Just ting, 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 ting. And then when you ask them, they're like, no, I didn't unsubscribe. Are you sure, Mom? Are you sure you didn't? She's like, no. They unsubscribed my mom 3 times. Can you believe that? And I've heard stories of other people being unsubscribed. It's bad enough that I offend somebody and make them unsubscribe. But if YouTube does it, it's kind of horrible. I think that's just weird that nobody's looking. Unsubscribe, 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 and hope that nobody notices. So double check that. Click on the notification bell. Anytime I post a live, you'll be notified as well. All right, that's it. Have a good night. Love you guys. See ya. Bye.
Black Swan Revelations here on YouTube brought you today's mind-bending journey. Dive into the discussion, your comments, questions, prayer requests, and powerful testimonies of Jesus' love are what fuel this community. Did today's episode hit home? Smash that like button. New here? Subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss a live stream or a video upload. Thanks for being part of today's adventure. Catch you in the next video, or maybe even in the clouds. Stay curious, stay blessed.